Welcome to the Dirt Life Show with your host, George Hamill.
Yeah, what is up? Happy Labor Day, everybody. Welcome to episode 142 of the Dirt Life Show. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. We have a special show for you guys tonight. We're going to be catching up with one of my good friends. He grew up in Pennsylvania, where off-road was not even a thing, not even on his radar. Now he's an off-road industry leader, both in racing and in business. He's a Baja 500 champion. He's been the CMO and VP at Polaris, as well as the CEO of 4 Wheel Parts. He's an off-road motorsports Hall of Fame honoree. He has changed the off-road industry by introducing the Polaris RZR to the world. Now we're stoked to be sitting with Mr. Craig Scanlon. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, George?
How are you, man?
Good. I wasn't sure who you were describing there for a second.
It's one of those things, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about the show, but I'm Georgie Hamill, like Craig said. It's one of those things you, forget where you came from, right? You, stop, remembering what happened over the years.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to forget where I came from. My parents and family remind me of that all the time, so...
That's just the way it goes. Well, Pennsylvania is a lot different than where we're at right now. We are in the Scanlon Motorsports household in Southern California. Thank you very much for having us here, dude. Appreciate it. And one of the things that you guys will probably see that's interesting is a blanket in the background. That thing's pretty memorable for you, or pretty meaningful to you.
Yeah. I got that as a gift for my birthday at King of the Hammers 3 or 4 years ago from Keith Redstrom, who's run our program forever and been my co-driver and best buddy for a long time. And
the cowboy.
And his mom actually went and took a class to learn how to make blankets out of T-shirts just to make that for me. So most people would throw it on their couch and use it, or in their motorhome. I decided to put it in a frame and up on the wall. So.
I think it looks super cool. So, well, thank you guys very much for joining the Dirt Life Show. We're going to talk all kinds of cool stuff with Craig tonight. Man, we're going to even talk about stuff outside your racing program. It's going to be pretty cool to go through everything. But before we do that, we want you guys to all share the show, have a little bit of fun with us, help us grow the show as much as possible. Ask any questions as well. We'll try to filter them as much as we can and get through as many as we possibly can as well. We have some really cool special guests that are going to join us. Some of your friends, Craig. Troy Lee, the famous helmet painter, is going to join us. We got a couple of your helmets here, so that's going to be pretty cool. Our buddy Aaron Quintero, Air Dog,
yep.
Air Dog's going to join us. And you just talked about Keith Redstrom running your program. Well, the person that's running your new program, Max Eddy, a champion in his own right, is going to join us as well tonight.
Yep. Should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool. A bunch of awesome people that are going to join us. So let's get through the sponsors real quick and everything. You can always join us anytime you want on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Every Monday night, we go live at 5 o'clock. And sometimes we have special shows on Thursday, too, like Industry Insider and stuff. But please get interactive with us. Keep sending us direct messages, hanging out with us online. You guys have been awesome doing that. We try to get back to every single person that we possibly can. And share the show. Sharing the show is about the only thing you got to do. We don't charge for the show, so please share it. And help us grow. Thank you to all of our partners that have been with the show. Let's see here. KMC Wheels, thank you very much to them. You can head down to your local 4 Wheel Parts dealer and pick up yourself a brand new set of KMC wheels for your truck, your side-by-side, any of those bad boys. And they have some new stuff coming out for the Polaris RZR Pro R, which both Craig and I drive now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that, too, your new Pro R. Thank you to the guys over at Maxxis Tires. Man, they did really, really well over at Crandon, so congratulations to all the drivers that were running Maxxis. Thank you guys over at Motul Lubricants. If you need to change your oil before you get out to the dunes for Camp RZR, go grab some Motul Lubricants at your nearest Cycle Gear. Order it through Evolution Power Sports online. They got all kinds of kits that you can order for your Can-Am, for your Polaris, whatever vehicle you drive. They got oil change kits from Motul at evolutionpowersports.com. Thanks to guys over at Shock Therapy. You can use the code Dirt Life to get yourself some limit straps, steering racks, bump steer delete kits, any of their hard parts. You can also call them up and tell them that the guys over at Dirt Life sent you. Get your car all dialed in, man, especially for the dunes. If you want an appointment out in Glamis, you better call them now because those things are filling up quick. Thank you guys over at JL Audio. We're going to be hanging out at the JL Audio booth at Sand Sports Super Show on Friday night. We got a bunch of people coming down for the podcast, so please check that out. Let's see here. And, yeah, thanks to the guys over at Evolution Power Sports. They got, I think we're going to get an exhaust and a tune for the Pro R from those guys.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Thanks to guys over at Zollinger Racing Products. Use the code The Dirt Life at Zoolander Racing Products to get yourself some tie rods, radius rods, anything to match up with your shock therapy steering rack. And thank you to the guys at Vision Canopies. Kyle did very good at Crandon as well. And thank you to Josh and all the guys over at Cryo Heat. All right, so we got, like I said, some special guests going to join us tonight. But, man, over the past year and a half, you've had all kinds of stuff happening, man.
Yeah.
You had a lot of big personal changes. You had business changes. You had racing changes, all kinds of stuff, man. When it rains, it pours. But the thing that I'm most pissed off about is I didn't get to go on very many bicycle rides with you, dude.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm doing plenty of that now, so it makes up for it. But yeah, it was super busy. It was flat out between trying to run the race program, build a new car, selling the 4-wheel parts business and Trans-American business to Wheel Pros from Polaris. That took a ton of time.
Yeah.
You know, and
there was a lot of times we were riding bicycles, man, and you just couldn't even focus because you had so much work stuff going on, and I appreciate that.
yeah, and it's just, and none of it was bad. It's just busy. You know, people always needing questions answered. You know, yesterday. So
that's just the way it goes, right?
Yep.
All right, so we already had some people commenting in. Easy way to get a response in the DMs is drop hidden taco spots. That's very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's been a lot going on over the past, 12 to 16 months, whatever, 12 to 18 months for you. Some of the stuff that I saw was pretty significant, though. And I'm talking more about the racing program stuff. You gave me the opportunity to be able to come down and hang out with you in Baja, like for the 1000, for the San Felipe, and some other races. It was really cool to see the evolution of your program because you're merging really good people together. You're getting all of this cool stuff done. You're elevating your media game. There's tons and tons of stuff. Like, did you think it was ever going to go that way?
Honestly, it's always just trying to kind of evolve it a little bit. And the other part too, sometimes you just get so busy in life, between having the kids and all the stuff that was going on, the business stuff, and you forget about, making sure that you take care of your sponsors and all that good stuff. And at this point, it's trying to get the program to where people can actually follow the race during the race. I think I went to KOH last year, and what the KOH guys do to cover races, I think is really unlocking the off-road for folks. I mean, when you can really watch it in real time, I think that's kind of the key for us to grow this sport, especially with sponsors and getting people's eyeballs on it. It's really cool to see what the results are after. But how much fun is it to watch KOH
and be a part of it?
And be a part of it. You don't have to be there, and you can follow it just like you would any other sporting event. So
yeah, it makes a lot of sense too. And I know that Justin Chasen, who's Bryce Menzies' media guy as well, he's doing a really good job elevating their game too. Do you think that's enough though, or do you think that we still need to tell more stories and get behind the scenes? Because I think the people are really important.
Yeah, I think it's both, right? And I think one without the other, kind of leaves people lacking.
Yeah, good point.
So if we can merge the two, and we're going to try some things, coming here before the end of the year, and Bryce has been doing some cool stuff,
right?
And if enough teams start doing that, and who knows, down the line, maybe the racing series can merge all that and allow people to be following the race, where they can click on the tracker, and then they can click on a racer's link and follow them, and then click on another racer and follow them, and that
would be so cool.
Yes, but but I think it's on all the race teams to kind of create this themselves, because I don't think the race, circuits are going to do it besides KOH. I'd like to see them do it.
Yeah,
but it
takes
doesn't seem like it's happening.
Yeah, and it takes a pretty heavy investment too, right? It's like, and you can't put it in every single person's car. Yeah, I think that's super cool that it's happening like that. To me, it looks like it's like I don't know, on the forefront, right? Like it's just cracking the doors open so everybody can see it, because we've been behind the scenes for so long. Like even the teams, right? Just sit there and wait, hang out.
Yeah.
But now, like with all these wireless internet solutions and things like that, like we could be in a chase truck while you're out there racing and be like, we know exactly what he's doing. Maybe it's a 4-second delay, but you know what I mean?
Right. That Starlink stuff is kind of blowing my mind away.
It's wild.
We talked a lot about it, and we're going to do some stuff here before the end of the year, but having that ability is really kind of game changing for us and how well it works. We've been testing it a little bit, and I'm excited about some of the things we can probably do, especially at the 1000 this year.
Yeah, that would be super cool to see all that, obviously, but and then also to, well, what do you think that's the value behind it? Do you think it's just showing what's happening inside the car, or do you think you have to like do a lead up story to it? Like, how would you put it all together?
Well, I think covering the pre-run and then all of a sudden race day disappearing isn't a great deal.
Okay.
For people to watch.
Yeah.
And I think not having any stories about, the lead up and the work you're doing and then covering the race isn't good either. I think, like I said, I think people want to hear the story of, being down in Baja for a week or 2 weeks and pre-running and all the trials and tribulations. And then they want to see how it turns out. And,
right.
And so far, typically what a lot of the race teams do, including ourselves, is, we'll post as we go along and all that good stuff. But then race day happens and we disappear.
Yeah.
And not because we don't want to cover it. It's because you get into sections of Mexico where
there's nothing.
There's just nothing.
Yeah.
You can't cover it.
You can't. Yeah. There was one time when we were with chasing you guys, and we had this little place. We called it 3G Alley.
Yeah.
It was like a section of 50 miles that was only 3G service.
Yep.
And I would hit post on like 69 messages, and finally by the end of that 30-mile stretch,
Yep.
it would be done. And I'd be like, yes, thank you.
And then there's some spots where you actually have coverage during the week when you're pre-running, and then race day hits, and then everybody's there on the same tower.
Zero.
And you got nothing. So.
So that's part of what kind of what I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to ask, like, how cool it is. Maybe you could give your description or impression of being able to go down to Mexico and participate in these things. Like, you've had very limited time, so sometimes when you go down there, you had to work or you had to leave early. But during the time when you're down there, it's like no other form of sporting.
Right. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yes. What I love about Mexico is when you go to other races, you kind of typically show up on a Friday and you race on Saturday and you go home on Sunday. And yeah, you get to see your friends and all that good stuff. But what the Mexico and the pre-running, it's just really you're spending a week with folks that are your race buddies, and
right.
And it's kind of you get a little bit deeper immersed in with your friends.
Well, so one of the things that I noticed, especially with your crew, is that everybody has the same goal and they want to perform at their best, right?
Yep.
Whether you're performing at your best as a 10th or a win, it's still the same mentality, right?
Yep.
And all of these teams and everybody comes together. But even when you see competitors, everybody is friends. Like, to me, like, being able to capture it, like what you were talking about, would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think to your point, though, about, what I think about is what is so cool about off-road motorsports is exactly that. Like, the people we compete with and that we're still friends with.
Yeah.
And, we were talking earlier, I was texting with Phil Burton last night, and we're talking about meeting up at the 400 while we're pre-running and having a drink, and that's the part what I think is so cool about off-road and kind of gravitated me to it is, I played football all the way up through several years in college, and
Big football guy.
You didn't go and hang out with the guys you played football against. Yeah. It just wasn't a thing, and and Phil races for a different manufacturer and all that good stuff. But he's an awesome dude, awesome family,
yep.
and whether they're a Polaris guy or a Can-Am guy or whatever, and you're friends, and everybody hangs out and tries to help each other. We were out testing last week with the brand new Pro R in Barstow.
Yep.
Who was there? Mitchie.
Mitch
Guthrie Jr.
Yeah.
So it's. Technically, we compete against each other, right?
Yep.
I call Mitchie up and say, hey, you've had your Pro R for a while. You've actually done pretty well. Why don't you come out and help me out and tell me some of the tricks of the trade? He spent the whole day out in 110-degree heat and pointing out things on the car that we can make changes to.
It's funny, too. Like, you can see that camaraderie, right? But you can also see, like, he's pointing things out and he's, like, showing you all this stuff. And I don't know how you want to say it, but, like, any competitor is like, I'm showing this dude the tricks, like, you know what I mean? But that's fair and it's good, but it's also like,
in fairness to Mitchie, let's be real here. It's like Michael Jordan giving tips to the guy who's the sixth man on the team. So
oh, come on,
that dude can flat out drive. He's been doing it since he's a little kid, and
he really can.
And he's turned out. I've known him for so long, and it's so awesome to see his maturation and what he's become.
Yeah, and his dad, his family effort, all that whole thing, right? Let's see here. Mike Gardner says, "Oh my gosh, Craig Scanlon. What's up, Mike? How are you?"
Oh my gosh, it's Mike. Mike's having a baby in like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait for that.
Just goes to show you don't need a license. You need a license to do pretty much anything in this world. But you don't need a license to have a baby. Mike Gardner, if anybody knows Mike Gardner, is having a baby.
Do they know if it's a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, his name's Craig. Weird, yeah.
Is that what they're going to name it, really?
Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to let the cat out of the bag. But
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so I think it's really cool that the camaraderie and all that stuff is there, and I do think that it's awesome that you have the opportunity to have people like that help you. Before we still got like 9 minutes before we get Troy Lee on here to talk about your helmets, so we can kind of phase into that. But with the use the word maturation of side by sides in general, do you remember? Because I want to take it like far back. Do you remember when like Yamaha Rhinos just came out, and then you guys had, like, when you were working with Polaris, you guys had in your back pocket that you were going to release the Razor?
Yeah.
Like, because I remember you telling me some stories about this, and I was like, no effing way. Like, this is exactly what everybody needs to hear. Like, how did it come about?
Oh, geez, it was a small team of people that worked on the original Razor, and then an even smaller team that launched.
Which one was it again? It was Razor 800.
800, yeah.
Yeah.
The 50-inch 800, and it's so funny because at the time we were like, man, this thing is just so out of control. It's crazy. It's, and the blah 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 blah, and then I look at the Pro R.
Well, yeah, that's where we're going with this combo, but like,
wow.
I remember seeing that Razor 800 going, good God, this thing is insanely cool. Like, how do I get one?
Yep. And then to watch it kind of evolve over time, it really just was a matter of like getting out and going places. It's like, okay, go down to the mud and go to mud events and look at what consumers are doing with vehicles.
Yeah.
And go to Sandsport Super Show and look at the number of booths that are filled with Rhinos and Razors that had long travel kits on, and going, wait a second, we can do this and make it so much more affordable for consumers and probably provide a better product for them. And that's how all the ideas from Razor came about, was going and watching what people do with them.
That's
and talking to people and say, hey, what are you doing? And learning and kind of saying, okay, this is what's next.
That's the same structure that I think would help grow off-road too, is show it to people.
Yep.
Because, they're not going to go and do it like you guys did. But yeah, like, that's so crazy. But you're right, though. Anytime you want to do something, I mean, not to put, I should put myself in that position, is the Dirt Life is successful because we go to those places. People don't have to come to us. We go to those places to make it easy for them so that other people can see what these people are doing. Like, I really, really think that that's a massive, I don't know, that's what kicked off side-by-sides, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Rhino is there. Rhino was originally developed to be like an outdoor hunting vehicle, though.
Right, or like hauling hay and stuff.
Yep, and then the consumers turned it into something else.
Yeah.
And then we came out with what we came out with, and then, kind of...
I remember being so pissed off when I got smoked by a Razor 800 in my Rhino.
Yeah. And then we launched the 900, and the 900 was the first time we've ever done kind of a brand new motor and a brand new chassis at the same time.
Well, the suspension package, I think, is what the seller for that, though, was, though, right?
Yeah, but we also had the 900 motor that kind of took horsepower from, kind of like ATV style horsepower up to like real horsepower.
Right.
Vehicles went, from going 55, 60 to going 75, 80 miles an hour, and it happened overnight. And like, but from developing a product, though, it was amazing, because typically you have a motor on the shelf and you develop a chassis, or you have a chassis and you put a new motor in it. It was the first time we had built a side-by-side specific motor to go in a side-by-side specific chassis.
Oh,
and mating the two at the same time. And the engineering team, I remember back in the day, the powertrain guys and the chassis guys, it was cool to watch it all come together. I remember.
Were they like, holy cow, we got a lot of work to do?
Yeah, and we used to test down in Havasu, and I remember going to Havasu and driving the first 900. They call them test mules.
Yeah.
And with the engineer saying, hey, by the way, if it goes all haywire, just turn the key off. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, because if you lose control, because this thing isn't calibrated and this, that, and just turn the key off. And I'm like, just turn the key off. Like, if I'm going 80 miles an hour.
That's not a really engineering thing to say, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the most comforting thing to say, but
but that's how things are built, though.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of things at Polaris were built over the years. It was so much fun to watch.
That it's the same, but you can think about like Henry Ford, or like I just blanked. The Wright brothers, like going to fly their first airplane. They're like, oh no, like I got to go up here. Am I supposed to just turn the key off? Like, what am I supposed to do?
But it was fun though. Back in those days, watching the Polaris engineers and the Polaris product teams and marketing guys all come together and do stuff like that. It was, I would say, if I was ever to get another job and do anything, it would have to be something where we were building something again.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch Razor go from, $0 in sales to a couple $1 billion and being, a global brand.
That's actually pretty wild to talk about, like, because it kicked off so fast. And it's not like the side-by-side industry is getting smaller. You know what I mean? Like, that was the evolution of a genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like of a genre of vehicle, like, or a category of vehicle. And it was also the evolution of, I don't know what you want to call it, like reincarnating off-road racing. Because you really, I don't want to say it fell off, because I hate saying that, because I feel like I'm doing disjustice to all my friends, but it was at a standstill, right? Like, off-road was only getting so far with all these custom vehicles, right? And now all of a sudden everybody has this outlet to be able to go do it. Like, a lot of people in our audience are all side-by-side guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, they all love getting out in their side-by-side. They like going out, and dude, I can tell you how many questions we get a week about going racing in a side-by-side.
Yeah.
And that is what started that.
Yeah, not just that though. Like, the lifestyle it created for folks. Like, I remember the first time I ever went to Glamis. First of all, I was blown away by it. Like, pulling into Glamis, you hear Glamis. You need to go to Glamis. And
do you remember what year it was the first time you ever went?
Geez, it probably
like
2008.
Yeah, I was gonna say around there.
And it was the middle of the week, and it was summertime.
Hot as shit.
Hot as shit, and nobody there. So imagine pulling up to Glamis for your very first time and just seeing nothing but sand. And
yeah, John Lewis said it became a lifestyle.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about it was, when I went to Glamis the first time on a weekend, it was a bunch of guys on dirt bikes, a bunch of guys, on quads and things like that. And sure, you would go out for a couple weekends a year, but what Razor really did, it kind of brought the sand buggy ability to take, your family with you.
Right. It wasn't just a singular vehicle.
People, instead of going to Glamis once or twice a season, people started going every weekend.
Yep.
Because now the whole family could go. And it wasn't like, I'm going to take off this weekend and you're stuck with the kids. Vice versa, whatever, whichever one of the people in the relationship went. But it turned into kind of just made the off-road more accessible to families.
And that's exactly what I think that, like, some of the media, like, what we should focus on in the media is that same type of connection, because that connection didn't exist until the Razor existed, right? Like, and it doesn't exist very well in off-road right now. So how do we get that? Like, that's where I'm going with this whole conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what, and then Starlink is making it happen, right?
Yeah. I think that the manufacturers are well aware that the real key to this whole thing is not just going after the folks that want to go 130 miles an hour,
right,
and go crazy. They understand that, you got to manage price points. You got to manage, the ability to be accessible to families, but you also got to make sure you got a product for the performance folks,
yep,
right? So, and that's why I think you're seeing vehicles like the Pro R, but you still see players making, 4-seat, turbo Pro Rs too, that are price point vehicles that, that are what they're supposed to be for people to do what they want.
Dude, honestly, I can't wait to talk about the Pro R, because you got that new race car and stuff. We won't get into it right now, because we're going to have Troy Lee calling in or joining us in just a little bit here. But let's start laying some groundwork down. Is like, do you remember when you saw some of Troy's work, or what made you want to include him in your race program?
Well, first we included him before he was involved in my race program. I had met him through Mike Emerson at VP. Well, Mike was at Troy Lee, and we got connected up through a lot of the. What you got going there? Request to join. Troy's joining. Sweet. And we got connected up through. I was there to visit Troy to start talking about doing some apparel for Razor, because I thought it'd be good for the Razor brand, and big Southwest guy and all that good stuff. So, what are you doing there, George?
I can't get to it because the lens is on there. Let me invite him. That's funny. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking.
RT was so distracting with you poking the screen like that.
Dude, really? All right. We'll get him on here in some way or another, man. This technology.
First show blues right here, right? It's your 142nd show.
Thanks, jerk. Yeah.
No, but we got connected because we wanted to do some apparel. It's actually, this is one of the pieces we did way back in the day, and it was just a great partnership. And then I met Jesse Nelson, And then Troy and I partnered with, getting Jesse back out and on razors, and so cool to see Jesse winning the DP4 race a couple weeks ago.
That was rad. He was so stoked on it.
Yeah.
And his co-driver Dustin was pumped on it too.
Yeah, and it was awesome to FaceTime with Jesse while he was sitting in an ice bucket on Friday night. With
did you?
With beers floating around him. Yeah. It was awesome to. I love when I'm FaceTiming with my friends and they're shirtless the whole time.
Sitting in an ice bath.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually something we're gonna have Troy actually update his Instagram app real quick on his phone. But while he does that, that's one of the subjects that I want to talk about. We won't be able to get too far into it, but great leaders always care about their team, the people they hang around with, and you do a lot of that too. Being a part of Polaris Razor for so long, you've given opportunity to not just myself. You let me drive one of your personal vehicles at a race, but you've done stuff for Jesse Nelson, all kinds of different people. I mean, I have a list here: Max Eddy, Brandon Sims, like tons of people. One of the things that I remember you telling me about was the first time that you raced a side-by-side, and it was against Brandon Sims, well, in the same class, I guess, right? Can you tell us that story?
I think, that was when I first started racing, and keep in mind, I never raced a thing in my life. I was...
Yeah, because you're a big football guy.
Brandon was racing. I was driving around in the desert during a race. I remember it was Silver State 300, and he went by me like I wasn't even moving, because maybe I wasn't at the time, I'm not sure, but... And after the race, that's when I approached him to be a part of the Polaris program. So it was fun. You really can't figure this out.
Well, I can figure it out. Watch. I can't hit the button.
Well, I know, but you would think you've done this a couple times.
Yeah. Well, actually, so Instagram,
there you go, right there.
Instagram, quit having live on iPads. So I have to use this stupid ass Google one, whatever the Samsung one is.
Is that a technical podcast term, stupid ass?
Yeah.
I dig it.
I hate not having Apple products, so that's why I curse them. Well, let's see if we can get Troy Lee on here. If not, I'm going to take off that lens and put it back on just so I can hit the freaking button.
Yeah. But big huge fan of Brandon. And Brandon's like another guy, just like Mitchie. Guys who were given an opportunity and over a 10-year period now have worked their ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part people don't see is,
Well, dude, you just said 10 years. Like, that's a lot of work. 10 years?
Right. And a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of folks want to go out and have a good result in one race and then say, oh, I'm killing it. Give me money, and that's not the way it works. Those guys went out and did it on their own.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Earned that opportunity. And it was really cool I would tell you, out of all the people, that over the years that I've helped out when it comes to racing, those two tops of the list for me.
Yeah, Mitch and Brandon.
Mitch, Brandon.
Yeah.
And you got the goofballs like RJ. I love being involved with that family as well. But, when pure side-by-side racers, guys that at the end of the day, 10 years from now will still be side-by-side racers, those two were two great finds. And I'll tell you, the only way I found them was by racing against them, which is super cool.
Yeah, I remember you said, like, when you were out there, I don't know how you explained it to me, but you were like, yeah, I was just racing, and I thought we were doing good, and then he goes flying by like a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you were like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
All right, so look who we got on now. We got the legend, Troy Lee. What's up, Troy? How are you?
How's it going? Sorry, man. I'm always fighting to get on these things.
Yeah, no worries. I think you're doing good, man. So, all right. We want to talk to you a little bit about my buddy right here, Craig Scanlon.
What up, Troy? Hair looks great like usual.
How's it going, Craig?
Doing good. How are you, bud?
Awesome, man.
Where are you at?
Stoked to be home. I'm in my yard here, man, right next to our mini bike track in Laguna Beach.
Oh, nice. Did you get yourself a pizza maker yet?
Yeah, no, I need to do that, man. We got little ramps here and got some little turns, and it's pretty fun.
Nice.
Overlooking the ocean.
Nice.
Dude, that's perfect, man. Well, thanks for joining us, Troy. I really appreciate it. A couple things that I want to talk about was do you remember the first time you actually met Craig?
Didn't we? I think every time me and Craig meet, we have a couple of drinks, and it always makes it more fun.
Just a couple.
That's how it goes.
It's not a good night until Troy's signing a bottle in 1942 for me. There's a couple empty ones around here.
Yeah. We always seems things like flow a little better that way.
Yeah, we did. I was telling him we did a little bit of collaboration on some apparel for Polaris, and then we did the Jesse thing.
Oh yeah, like the Polaris shirt that you're wearing right now.
Old school.
Yeah, we did some clothing for him, and he liked the clothing we did for our motocross team, and so we just started expanding a little bit with him, and super cool that they came in and helped support Jesse. You know, Jesse, he's an amazing person to be able to keep doing what he loves to do. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about him right now. I don't know if you caught word or you saw it on social media or if Jesse called you, but Jesse just won a DP4 off-road race.
Oh, awesome. No, I got to call him. I didn't get a call yet.
Yeah, well, cool. You might end up in the same boat as Craig and have shirtless Jesse on the night after the race talking to you on FaceTime.
It was last Friday night. It was Friday night. He was sitting in an ice bath drinking beer, shirtless talking to me. He really knows how to woo awesome. Sponsors or ex-sponsors, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, Jesse's such a good dude.
So real quick story. So I have a pizza maker. We do pizza nights here. And so Troy came over and apparently he's a big fan of pizza night.
Big fan of pizza night, really?
Yeah, but we need it. In fact, maybe I just need to go buy you one and send it to your house.
No, I just need to do it here. There seems like there's always something else to buy here, man. But
how big is a pizza maker?
How big?
Yeah, like how big is the thing that you're talking about? Is it massive?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Outside.
Dude, oh, okay. Well, there you go. Craig's gonna have to, or Troy's gonna have to put it out there on the side of his track, dude. So, Troy, do you remember
to throw a party?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you remember all of the, I don't know if you want to call it design work or paint jobs and stuff like that you've done for Craig? We got a couple of them here, so I was going to show the audience some of them. These ones are some of my personal favorites. Craig let me invade his office or his studio. Awesome. This is one of the ones that you guys did with VP, obviously. One of my favorite parts is the script in the back. And obviously what do you call this? Is it chrome flake or what is this?
No, it's silver leaf. It's really white gold. And then we pound it on. It's like a foil, and we pound it on. And Jay that works for me is just amazing. He's the best gold leaf guy I know. That and pinstriper. But and then you spin it by hand, kind of like they do on the Breitling watches or the Porsche dashes. Kind of engine turn it. Yeah, so it takes a lot of time. Kind of a lost art. And Craig's definitely one of the guys that deserves the coolest helmets out there.
Yeah, this one's pretty rad. And then I think this one.
This one was for we did the Mint 800 when we raced the side by side and then a truck.
Yeah.
And Troy actually developed a new color for that truck when we did the 6100 truck. It was pagan gold. Like you made that color. That wasn't even a color, right?
Yeah, I work with PPG a lot. I'm working on some new colors right now that we're trying to invent, like a fluorescent turquoise right now. But it's cool working with Craig because we get to do. I love doing the whole package. That's what's cool about our race team is you get to do his helmets, kind of the car, the clothing, and we always throw a little fun in there. Do you have the one with the taco on it, Craig?
Well. Oh, I don't. Yeah, so we're talking about fun, and I was waiting just to show him this. Like, do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Like, can you give us a backstory of the donkey or the burro?
We had a donkey so we had JJ the donkey was our mascot of our race team. He was a real like a real miniature donkey.
Right. You kept in Arizona.
Right. We kept him in Arizona. Now he's actually out to brighter pastures. Keith's brother took him to his ranch, and he's now buddies with another miniature donkey.
Oh, so he's got a friend.
He's got a friend now, but at the time it was right when we had gotten him, so Troy threw a little donkey action on the back of it.
That was pretty good. And then
I think this one had the taco on it, right?
Did it? Oh yeah,
it's the taco. So we did a little mimic of an NFL logo for the 500 this year, and instead of a football, he threw a taco in there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man. Especially for the Baja 500, it fits right in, right?
Yeah. So we did a helmet suit, the whole deal. To little Chargers themes for our friend Joey D.
And obviously you got your SMG logo on the front. But this one is actually one of my favorite, Troy, just because it's so clean. Like you can tell the detail in it so much because the white offsets everything else, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's good to do clean, man, because it shows up so good from a distance, especially if you got a cool theme that's running through everything. So
Yeah,
and there
exactly.
we use the gold leaf. That's 24 karat gold leaf in there, so it's that's cool. It's kind of a cool little treasure.
Gucci.
Totally Gucci, yeah. Very Beyonce of me. One of the things that's cool about Troy is I love the fact that, like, when he does one of these helmets, there's literally, he sketches it. Like, he draws it. Like I have drawings of trucks and helmets and suits and all kinds of stuff where it's hand sketched by him, and at the end of it, I'm always like, can I have that? You know?
Oh, because you just want the drawing.
I just want the drawing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I have drawings in my office, and, you know, that I'll save forever. You know, eventually I'll get them framed and all that stuff. But, you know, he literally draws it out, and which I think that's a lost art, too. You know, I'm sure everybody is just using a computer to do everything now these days, and he actually still takes pencils and draws like an artist.
So is that one of your favorite parts of the job, Troy?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wish I could say I could work on the computer as fast as my guys do, but for me, just, you know, I kind of travel with my backpack and pencils, and same thing I was doing in Europe a couple weeks ago, drawing helmets for the MotoGP guys in Silverstone. It was just kind of go into their pits, draw, you know, kind of get to know them and sit down and then just sketch something up. And it helps so much when you can just sit across from each other. Like when Craig comes in, me and him can just kind of, you know, of course, we're always stoked to see each other, but he's always got a couple ideas. I have a couple ideas, and it seems like you know, there's certain people that it just flows with, and Craig's one of those guys.
Yeah.
So you just 20 minutes, we got an idea.
Does it? Do you ever get to the point where you're like, yeah, this is the exact direction I want to go, or like I don't need to give Troy any other advice?
Oh, I don't give Troy advice.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because like he says that most of the time it's him saying cool stuff, and I'm going, yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's Troy Lee, for Christmas sakes. You don't tell Troy Lee how to design a helmet. You don't tell Troy Lee how to design a race team, you know, scheme for a truck or a car or anything like that. You let him do his thing.
So he was actually telling me, I got the opportunity to go and do a podcast sponsorship summit thing in his studio, and I was able to walk in and check out his office, and he was telling me that there is some guys that they don't, you know, corporate stuff, that they don't get that creative freedom, and I remember him saying that he enjoys that a lot. So that's probably a good reason why you guys mesh so well together.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to tell a plumber how to fix my toilet. I'm not going to tell Troy Lee how to design a helmet. How about that, you know? So
I agree with that 100%. Man, so some of the projects that you guys have got to work on over the years, Troy, have been pretty significant. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun just working on Craig stuff, and, you know, having him introduce me to people at Razor and Polaris and working with those vehicles. And, you know, there's always something else seems like around the corner that we're kind of working on together too, you know? So no, it's been fun. Hopefully we keep doing the same thing for the next 10 years, you know?
So one of the cool ideas that Troy gave me was we were sitting down and we were talking about like what could the new car and what could the themes be and all that good stuff. And he actually gave me the idea. You ever notice how every race I change the color of my car?
Yeah.
Well, he said I wish, you know, we were designing a new suit, and he's like, I wish it could be like motocross where, you know, we could have a new kit for every race.
Right.
Well, we can't have a new suit every race because it's too expensive, but we paint the car and wrap the car every race.
Yep.
So that's what gave the idea of let's change the color of the car. Let's keep the same graphics every race, and let's just change the base color of the car every single race. And Troy gave me that idea.
Dude, I think that's a fantastic. Do you guys have a favorite one so far, Troy? Well, I know that you're the creative guy. You probably have tons of favorites, but
I really don't have a ton of favorites. Usually as soon as I get done, I have another idea and it pops in my head. So that's what kind of keeps me going. You know, when I don't have a new idea popping in my head, then I'm like, okay, I should probably retire. But as soon as I get done with pretty much anything I do, I'm like, wow, I got another way to make this thing cooler next time, you know? So I feel fortunate somehow that keeps happening.
And you get less creative guys like me. Like, actually, do you have a favorite one?
No, it's funny you should say that because like everybody has a different favorite one.
Right, you like the variety.
Like Keith likes the red one, Brandon from our race team likes the white one, somebody likes the yellow one. It's like everybody. It's so much fun to change the color of the car because that's what I get the most messages on. Like this is my favorite and this is my favorite. So it's like I think what's the favorite for people is just the variety.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. So, like, I think so far my favorite one is the newest one because I like the cleanliness of the white with the gold and blue. Mm-hmm. But my favorite car that you've had on track was the yellow one because you could see you a million miles away, and I'm like in the helicopter or wherever I'm at, like or in chasing you, and I'm like, there he is.
Yep.
100%. We know that's Craig. Like, so all of that variety.
The only yellow razor ever made.
Dude, but it was so easy to see you, man, and you guys are flying. Like,
yeah, it's fun. Troy, I got a question for Troy. It's like, when you first started doing this stuff way, way back in the day, did you ever think that Troy Lee Designs would be what it is now?
Oh, I think we got a long ways to go here. I want to, that's why I'm over in Europe here trying to put a MotoGP team together, helping gas here now. I'm like, I want to keep this, I'm excited next time I'm waiting for that phone call, Craig, you're calling me in the next week or two going, we got to put a new livery together, because that's like always the exciting part for me is go. And that's what I'll give you one of my secrets, man. I look at the whole field out there and go, okay, what's everybody driving, and going, okay, how can we stand out? Same thing with IndyCar or MotoGP or anything. It's like, we'll see what everybody else is driving. What color aren't they using? And let's go twice as wild as what's on the circuit.
Dude, that's why he's the innovator, right? Is because he's doing his research and he's making it better. Like, I love that part about it, man. Do you use some of the inspiration that you get from other genres to like go into Craig's program?
Oh, for sure. I love looking at everything. I mean, I love just shopping. It's kind of crazy. I think I shop more than my wife. I love going into all the high-end fashion stores and look at all the colors and plates and silverware. And I just, look at butterflies. And I mean, try to look at everything because I know I'll be able to suck something out of it and transfer it onto a race car or a motorcycle.
Yeah, we just had a comment come in and said always outside the box. But yeah, if you weren't thinking outside the box, just like when you guys invented Razor, just like what he does on a daily basis, like those things are what makes those trends and like industry changes.
When he talked about the gold car or the gold truck, when he said we're gonna do gold and red, like, when he talked about, I'm like, there's no, like, I remember walking out like, I'm not doing gold, like I hate gold.
Yeah.
And then he drew it, and I'm like, I still was like, I don't like gold, but I didn't tell. I went with it because I knew. And then when everything got painted, I was like, okay, now I get it. So that's sometimes you just got to get out of the way and let people do what they do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I want to see if I can find a picture of that gold truck. Do you know where it was? Like,
it'll be on Instagram. I can find it while you guys are talking. Why don't you talk to Troy for a minute?
So, Troy, do you have any ideas on, like, can you give us any secrets on what the new car is going to look like?
I don't want to talk about that. What about, talk about the motocross team.
Actually, that's actually a really good thing. So, we just ended, we actually had a comment come in that from John Jumpin. He said, what is the craziest thing that Troy has ever drawn on a napkin?
Oh, I draw everything on a napkin. That's where I start. And sometimes that's where I finish and hand it to my guys, and they put it in the computer after that. Oh, I don't know. John used to work for me. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, he did? Okay. So maybe he's talking about something specific that you guys did together. Yeah.
He probably remembers something, but half the time they're, go to dinner with somebody and you kind of sketch it on a napkin, and that's, it gets started there. I totally believe in napkin and tailgate parties. I lived my whole life that way. Hanging out at the races, drawing something on the tailgate or drawing something on the napkin at dinner, having a couple glasses of wine, and it seems like it just comes together.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right? That's when you get the creative juices flowing. So, yeah, talking about the motocross team, you guys had a pretty successful season this season, man. You guys had the 250 guys stepping it up. Obviously, Justin was out there crushing it. And it just ended this past weekend. How was it?
Oh, it was super hot, man. It was like anywhere you could find shades. I mean, it was amazing. Those guys were out there just battling. I know they shortened the motos, for 5 minutes shorter, but it was hot. It was just, it was tough. I felt bad for those guys, man. Just trying to get them cool. Everybody had bathtubs to throw them in after the races, and it was just trying to cool them down so they could get ready for second moto. Because when you really look at it, I mean, they go out there and they practice, and then they do time qualifying, and then they got to do 2 motos. I mean, motocross, when it's already gnarly enough without being so hot, and it was just
Yeah, it looks like it looked like it was so gnarly. Were there a lot of guys complaining? Because, like, man, just being out there, not racing, looked like it was gnarly.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend for everybody. I mean, I need to send a nice letter out to everybody next week and thank all the riders and the mechanics and truck drivers and everybody that, sponsors, Craig, everybody that helped us pull this together. And hopefully we can go out there and do better next year. I mean, we won some races and won some supercrosses and heat races, but it's like gambling, man. You always want to do a little better, So we got to go back to the drawing board and go, how can we be 5% better, 10% better,
I can definitely agree with that, but that's like the same thing that we were talking about earlier. Is like the same stuff about racing is trying to get a little bit better. No dice finding it.
I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, man.
I airdropped it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get it.
Hold on.
What kind of stuff have you been working on, Troy? Because you said that you've been over in Europe a lot.
Yeah, I have a new partner over there, and we've invested in 2 helmet companies over there, 2 factories in Portugal. So I just bought a house over there a couple weeks ago. Me and my wife are going to fly over there and furnish it. So I've been kind of living over there, working in the factories. I'm trying to move our helmet production. Probably shouldn't say this publicly, but we're moving our helmet production to Portugal and to Italy. They have 2 factories over there, and I'd much rather go there than China,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Half our business in Europe, I think we can really grow it. We'll be able to service them a lot better. And, I'm 61 years old, and I feel like I got another 10 years in me. And I'm like, I'd rather go to Italy and build helmets, and Portugal and build helmets, and watch them come off the assembly line. And they got, wind tunnel testing over there and labs and everything. So super stoked. I mean, I feel like I may kind of reach, starting over again a little bit. We're working on some street helmets, and hopefully we go MotoGP racing with gas, and that's kind of my new adventure.
That's so cool to hear that, though, like, because that's like a full refresher, right? Like when you hear that and hear like it kind of makes me want to move to Europe. I don't know about you.
I'm just gonna go over. Like him and I talked last week. I'm just gonna come over and visit him in Portugal and
hang out.
Yeah, and have no work or anything to do.
So this is the truck that we were talking about, the one with the gold. Yeah, that's definitely innovative in the off-road culture. That's for dang sure. So how shiny was it? Because I don't know if you can see the...
Oh, it was flaky flake in there.
Like a lot of shimmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be fishing with some fishing poles out the back.
Yeah, there was some bass boat action going on with that thing.
How do you execute on something like that, though? Because that's a lot of work. Is that actual paint? No shit.
Yeah. John Melvin... John Melvin down in Arizona does all of our painting stuff, and he wasn't terribly psyched about that one. It was a lot of work.
That's what it does, though, man. It starts the creative process. Well, I'm stoked to see you doing so well, Troy. Thank you, obviously, for letting us, use your studio and stuff like that for the stuff that we were doing before. And even more so, like, I appreciate what you guys are doing for the off-road culture. Craig giving you creative freedom. You doing so much, to give back to all the racers and drivers and everything. It really means a lot because it helps excel the sport.
Oh yeah, I love to I thank them for letting me be involved, man. It's fun. It's what I love. It's what I love doing, and especially it's definitely cool working with great racers and great teams. And the more I can do that all the way around the world, it's cool. And definitely working with Craig is always a pleasure.
It's
just,
fun when
we sit down. There's certain people you sit down with, and within 20 minutes you got a good plan, and that seems like it always happens with Craig.
Yeah, the faster we get to that, the faster we get to the Don Julio.
I was going to say, or the pizza.
Well, sometimes both.
You got to have both. Well, it's good to see that you guys are such good friends, man. Well, thanks very much for taking the time with us, Troy. We really appreciate it. We'll let you get back to your life, man.
Thanks, Troy.
Okay, cool. Take care.
See you later.
Soon. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
And thanks to Carly, his daughter, for setting all that stuff up, man. So she's been a big help as well. Man, it's so cool. Like when I think about stuff like that, and I think about you having the opportunity to work with him having the opportunity to work with you, that just gives me like such a smile on my heart because like I remember this little black and white logo when I was 12 years old and I started racing dirt bikes. That was the best thing that I had ever seen in my life because it was so creative. I was like, if there's any day that I ever have an opportunity to be able to have, a helmet or go look at something like that from a guy like Troy Lee, that would make me so happy. Like, so it's just cool to see that all those things come to fruition for people.
Yeah, I mean, like you talked about in the beginning, like I didn't grow up, riding a dirt bike out here, and so like meeting Troy Lee was, for some people, like, it would have been like, oh my gosh, Troy Lee. For me, it was like I was learning about him. So it was so cool to have, like, come from a point of, like, learning. Just the first time I sat down with him, asking about his history and learning it that way.
Right.
instead of having preconceived notions or anything.
It was
like
all
that.
brand new.
It was all brand new. It was all part of my my crash course in the history of the off-road 101, the West Coast off-road 101. And guys like Troy taught me, like, to go from not ever spending any time in the off-road and having people like Troy be the people to introduce you to it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It really is, because then you're hearing like all of the long stories and all of the stuff that goes behind it. And those are the meaningful portions, right? Like that's exactly what the stories that I think we need to bring out, because those are what will sell our sport to other people.
Yep.
Man. Oh, let's go back to you helping people too, because we just had Troy talking about Jesse Nelson and a few other people. Actually, let's answer some comments. So Razor Life says they miss you, Craig.
Yeah, I miss you guys too.
David Uptain said, we were talking about Craig this weekend at Crandon. He was pushing the sport so hard through the enthusiasts. It's never been the same since he left. Well, he's still here, man. What do you mean left? The wall behind you guys is awesome. Yeah, Chris, it really is. That's a quilt that Keith Redstrom, Craig's co-driver or the manager of his program, his wife, I think you said, or his mom?
His mom.
Yeah.
Not that Deborah, his wife, couldn't do it too. She could.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell her short.
Big quilting team over there.
Quilting team over there.
But yeah, so let's talk about you helping people. So I want to just lay the groundwork for this real quick. I was in a really bad side-by-side accident in 2019. And you and I connected, and you were like, hey, come out, we'll do a bicycle ride next time you're in California. We did a bicycle ride, and you and I started talking about, like, racing, and I was like, nah, I don't give a shit about racing anymore. Like, I'm good. Like, I'll just stay doing the dirt life, whatever. And you're like, no, you're going to want to do it. Like, don't never say never.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's a RS1 sitting in my garage if you need it. And I was like, all right, let me think about it. And then so I called you a few weeks later, a month later, whatever it was, and I was like, you know what? I think what you said is turning me the tides are turning a little bit here. And we actually worked it out where you made a massive improvement in my life because you gave me something to do with that vehicle, building the vehicle to go race the UTV World Championship where I actually got hurt.
Yep.
So it was this whole like full circle thing. And I don't know if you had any idea what you were doing, but it was like, yeah, I'm sure you did, but like it was life-changing, right? Like it really set the tone for me. And we went out there and we accomplished and finished the race. And at the crossing the finish line, I just yelled as hard as I could to my whole crew, like, yes, fucking A, we did it.
Yep.
But I was crying for like 10 minutes during the race, because I couldn't believe that we did it. And so those monumental things really make a big difference in people's lives. And you've done that for not just me, but for a lot of people. And it's really impressive. And I don't know if I always think like great efforts and great leaders lead to great rewards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like you're doing it for personal gain. You're doing it to help other people.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's a tough one to talk about. I mean, I always look at life like people have helped me so much more than I've helped other people. And honestly, being involved in situations like that where you're helping other people and you watch them excel, it actually brings a huge high for me. I don't want to keep talking about Mitchie, but Mitchie was like a little kid when I met him.
Yeah.
And now I look at him. He's a grown man, and he races for Red Bull, and he races all over the world, and he made all his dreams are coming true, and he does it the right way. He works hard. He gets up every day, and he helps other people now. He's the mentor for kids. And he sets the example of what the right way to do things in life. And for me, that's what's rewarding. I get like George. I watched you talk about that race, and it wasn't anything you said. It was the way you talked about it. It was so clear to me that you needed to go out and conquer that race that conquered you.
But it wasn't clear to me, and that's what I'm saying.
I get it, but it was so clear to me. I'm like. And I was like, "F that! This dude's racing that race," and it was something simple for me. It was like, "Hey, I have this car; it's built out. Go do it."
Yeah, But you did the same thing for like a guy like Jesse Nelson. Jesse Nelson was injured in a dirt bike race, and you were able to show him that he could still do his racing dreams and all that stuff in a 4-wheel drive vehicle, a Polaris RZR, and you gave him set him up with an RS1, and now look at how far it's taken him. Like, he's doing all of these cool things, right? He's built his own race program. He's learned how to work on all these vehicles. Like, he's really putting things together, man. And when you talk about like how much effort it takes just to even win a DP4 race, like the amount of effort that he's put in and dedicated his life to it is phenomenal just because you helped him.
Well, he did the work.
Right.
You know,
And you showed him.
Yeah, but
Just like you did me.
Opening a door. That's all. And it's same thing, you know, I like Ethan Groom. You know, that kid, like another kid, you know, it's like little kid racing, watching him go out and finish second, you know, at Vegas to Reno, you know, was so awesome. You know, there's another one. Caden.
Yeah, Caden Danbury.
Caden, last week, you know, I'm heading out to Barstow to test the new car, and, you know, I made sure to call his mom first and say, hey, can he take the day off from school and come out and run and, you know, check out the new car? In my head, I had planned the entire time that he was going to drive the new car.
Yeah.
I said, hey, bring your helmet.
Yep.
And it wasn't going to be – but that's another look, a Razor 170 racer, right? And you know, Air Dog, hold on, and has gotten – his grades are fantastic. Ethan's grades are fantastic. I watched them both, just their maturation and how they talk on camera now. They used to be so sheepish and shy.
Yep.
Caden, I'd be like, every time I'd see him, like, come here and give me a hug, and like he would be so sheepish and shy, and now it's like – you know,
it's pretty rad,
real hugs. And he drove my brand new car last week, and all I said before he left was, like, don't mess it up, or we're gonna have a real problem.
Yeah, or you're gonna have a really big invoice, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I just wanted to end that by saying, like, thank you, because you've shown me a lot, and that's one of the reasons that the Dirt Life is successful, because I like to give back to people now too.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Look at that guy.
All
Seriously.
right. So we have the man, the myth, the legend. His real name is Aaron Quintero, but everybody calls him Air Dog.
Yes.
Air Dog has done a whole bunch of stuff. He is the father of Seth Quintero, but more importantly, he is a fantastic co-driver,
Yeah.
a good friend, and he knows how to really, really make some good poke bowls.
He does, and I'll tell you, he's good. He's good at a good bush fix too. I mean, if something's broken in the middle of the desert, he can wing it for sure.
So welcome, Aaron Quintero, to the show. What's up, Air Dog?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're doing pretty good, man. Where are you at?
Where is he at?
I'm at home. I'm at home now, yeah.
Oh, right on. I thought you just had like a fun weekend, man. What were you up to?
Yeah, we went and visited some friends last minute out in Colorado.
Hey, there's a duck about to fly directly into your ear. I don't know if you know that or not.
I tried to move the camera, but...
No, I dig it, dude. Look at you got a goose back there too.
Man, it's Air Dog's big hunting guy.
Loves it. He loves it. And he keeps promising to take me with him, and yet I still haven't gotten an invite. It's weird. And every time I see a story like going hunting tomorrow, I'm like, what happened? What happened?
Sick invite, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so Air Dog, I wanted to ask a couple questions.
you guys doing?
Hey, by the way, before you do anything, is that not the youngest looking grandfather you've ever seen in your life? Look
I
at
know. Every
Two
time
times. Hey, by the way, just had another one. Congratulations.
Yeah,
First grandson.
They're a blast, man. They keep me going. We just went to like trampoline park with Everly, and no joke, she wore me out. Like I had nothing on.
How old is she?
She's gonna be almost 2.
Oh, she wore Air Dog out, I guess. And Air Dog has a lot of energy, man.
He does. I'll tell you. That's a guy that's no joke guy that's up at 4 a.m. He'll drink until 2 and be up at 4. And it's amazing.
And just still be wide open.
Yeah.
Air Dog, do you remember the first time that you actually met Craig?
What was that again? Sorry.
Do you remember the first time that you met Craig?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. It was when Cheeto got named Cheeto.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no joke. I literally said, "Do you want me to pull this off the mantle?"
So
when Air Dog comes on.
Yeah, you can't see it, but over here there's a big mantle, and I don't know if you know this dude.
Oh my God! Yep.
We're gonna have to clip this.
Dude, look how young he is there.
So anybody that's looking at the screen that doesn't know who Seth Quintero is, now you know where Seth came from.
Yeah, he's our little elf,
Cheeto.
our little Cheeto elf.
Oh man, that's such a good picture.
Now he's an international racing model. So,
where was the first time that you met Craig?
Yeah, It was out in Barstow, I believe, for a Polaris commercial.
Yeah.
Maybe prior to that. No. Yeah, it was there. It was out in Barstow.
Or was it? It might have been Hesperia.
Yeah, I was at one of the hotels. I think we were having a little like introduction. Everybody was getting together type deal down at the lounge.
Yeah.
What was your first impressions?
Come on.
To be honest, I don't remember. I mean, it was hot and kind of not knowing what we were in for. And it was Craig, Joey, Seth. I think you guys had went somewhere and met me there.
Yeah. Yeah, we had picked up, and this, we've told the story before, but I'm a big fan of hot Cheetos. So is Cheeto.
Yeah.
Seth. And you would think at the time I was sponsoring him, and you would think he'd want to share his hot Cheetos with me after I told him this long dissertation about how I liked hot Cheetos. He gave me one Cheeto, and by the time I turned back around in Joey's truck, he had, demolished the whole bag and did not feel sorry about it at all. So. And
he was like, "Yeah, Craig's not getting any."
So he called him Cheeto, and it stuck, and now it's on the back of all his race helmets and stuff like that. But so. This just shows you the Quinteros, instead, like, they made a joke out of it, which I love about them is, all those bags of Cheetos in that picture arrived in my office one year at Christmas time along with that picture. So so I've kept that picture. That picture, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas time or not. It's on the mantle. It'll be there for my whole life. So, and I still have the bag of hot Cheetos I made the little bastard sign for me. So
that's just what I was talking about, man. This dude cares about people, Aaron.
He sure does.
And then, so you actually have had some other opportunities to hang out with Craig too, like going down to Baja and hanging out, man. So there's been some pretty cool stuff that you guys have been able to do together. Do you remember any funny stories? I know one. You guys were standing around. Anybody that knows that hangs out with Air Dog knows that he's a riot, right? He's just a ball of energy, but. We couldn't get him to stand still for the camera while he was sitting next to your car. And I remember he's just doing all these poses and getting all crazy. And Craig's like, dude, can you just calm down real quick so we can get this fucking video?
Oh, no. My favorite from Air Dog is a night we had at Deckman's.
What's Deckman's?
Deckman's is a restaurant. He knows. Yes.
Adrian Rancher Racing, what's up, man? What? Can you tell any more of the story, or is that it?
Nope. Can't tell any more of that story. Let's end it with the next morning. All I heard was there was a turkey in our house, and all I heard was "Grr, grr," from downstairs in the house. It was a long day for both of us the next day.
Oh man, that's hilarious. What were you gonna say, Air Dog? We can't hear you very well.
I say that was definitely one to remember for sure.
There we go. We can hear you a little bit better. Do you remember any other funny stories? Yeah, well, maybe at the races or maybe not at the races.
Yeah, there's a lot. We've had a good time. We're a good combo. I think we're both a little bit on the high energy side. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that we get into. And I don't know. There's been a lot of good times, a lot of fun good times.
Yes.
Dude, so when you put two high energy people like you guys in a car, like you did for the Baja 1000 last year, how does that work?
We've done it a couple times. It is so good. He is so good at navigating. He is so you want to know why? Because he's very meticulous. He is he is so into making sure he gets it right that every single little thing pre-running he takes very seriously. And during the race, I will tell you, there's very few people that have the concentration level that Air Dog has. Like, driving's easy. It's not easy, but you can't take any time off. You have to do it. Navigating, I've done it a couple times. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
Because
I won't even bother.
I can't keep track, right? And he is so good at it because, like, there's been times where it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, and I have no brakes, and he is so calming. Like, that's the one thing. We're both high energy, but where he's different than me is he knows when, like, he is so calm.
Yeah, he knows how to...
Nothing rattles him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's probably from years of being married to Amy Quintero. You have to learn to be very calming.
Not worry about getting rattled. So yeah, like being in the passenger seat, like there's a lot that actually goes on. There's Seth Quintero, that's my dad. Oh, I don't know if Seth logged on before. Seth, check that bad boy out.
Oh man.
The funniest part about this picture is like, the picture's funny.
picture's
But it's
great.
it's that you have it on your mantle, like front and center. Like
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal.
So
I ate all those bags of Cheetos too.
really,
Every single one of them.
holy cow! There must be 69 there.
Dude, I was eating small bags of Cheetos I was eating 4 or 5 a day. At one point I couldn't wait to get through them because I was putting on weight so fast. So
You had to do it to me, huh? Yeah, we did, Seth. Sorry, man. Could you imagine brushing your teeth after 5 or 6 bags of those things? Holy
not
smoke!
just your teeth.
Those
Cheetos go somewhere.
That's a good point. Yeah, so Air Dog, getting the opportunity to ride in a race car with Craig, it must be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's definitely been an honor. We've been helping him. I think I started helping him with Joey. I don't know, man. It feels like years ago. I don't know how long it was ago. Maybe 6-7 years ago, we started going down there with Craig and just helping out, and got the opportunity to get in that right seat. And we did a lot of pre-running, and then to jump in that right seat, it's been pretty fun. It's sometimes you're nervous. You don't know the driver. You don't know how to control them or calm them down, or you got to really learn the person. And we're real good friends, so I think I kind of know how to calm them down a little bit sometimes in that right seat.
Way better than most people would. I mean, it's amazing. So sometimes just the way the other person's voice sounds is calming. Do you remember the time we stopped for some food next to that pond? And at one point, all the steer.
Yes.
We stop, and there's just cows and steers and up on this mountain. And then all of a sudden, we're talking and eating, and next thing we know, we turn around, and they are literally like feet from us,
coming at us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming at us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a blink of. We're sitting there talking, and we look back 1 second, and we had a herd of cattle coming at us.
Yeah.
That was, I think we got up and changed our snack spot from there.
Yeah, there's something about getting between a herd of cattle and their water source probably wasn't the smartest thing we've ever done, but it was.
Dude, the shit that happens down in Baja, man, that's crazy.
One time we're down. Oh, you were there, George. I got to make sure he stays nutritioned and hydrated and all that stuff when we're pre-running. So, found some good buddy Sharky, introduced me to some cactus fruit, and I'm not sure if Craig ate it. Yeah, remember the pitaya?
Yeah.
That was fun. We've had a cool few moments out there together.
Yeah, so Dennis Zenz, actually Seth's navigator in Dakar, just commented in and said, "What's up over there?"
What's going on?
Yeah. So one fun fact, though, that ties all this stuff together. Craig was the first one that introduced me to, it's called acai bowls. It's like a little bowl, a nutrition bowl or whatever. It's got bananas and a bunch of other shit in it. And then, so I go down to Mexico with your guys, and Sharky introduces me to the pitaya. Mm-hmm. It looks like a tomato, but it has cactus on, or thorns on it. Cactus. And then, so I go back to the acai place, and they got pitaya.
Yes.
And I'm like, no shit. And then it's low sugar, and I'm like, dude, okay, so thanks, Craig, for introducing me to both of them, because now I have an addiction to those pitaya bowls.
Worlds collide. Yep. You could have worse addictions, trust me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy, all those things that happen down in Baja. One of the things that I was going to say is, it's really cool to see the dynamic that all of you guys have together when you go down there. And one of the first questions that I was going to ask was, what's some of the coolest things that you think are about, going down to Baja? Because all of us have different ways of looking at it, Air Dog.
Nothing beats going down to Baja with a good, solid group of people. And I think you've met almost everybody on the SMG team between, Keith and Brandon. I mean, there's so many of them, but it's a great group of guys. And on top of that, we're always helping people out. One of my favorite things down there, honestly, pre-running is my favorite, but to see everybody, whether you're from New Zealand, I know there's guys that come from all over, and everybody's down there to help everybody out to get going and get what they need. I just love the way that all that is down there in Baja.
What is one of the favorite things that you've been part of Craig's team that he's accomplished? Was it the Baja 500 win, or was it something else? Because to me, when I saw that you guys crossed the finish line after fighting all that adversity in the Baja 1000, I was almost overcome with emotion because I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, honestly, that's a tough one. But I would have to say it would be the team's win at the Baja 500. I don't know what would top that, because the amount of work that goes into that race program and the amount of everybody's hard work, finally all got put together, and it was pretty amazing to see. And everybody knows how hard it is to win down there.
Yeah, dude. It's like those races don't come or those wins don't come easy.
No. I'd have to say it's probably the Baja 500 win.
Yeah, that was a good one, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. There's a lot. I mean, sometimes like some of the worst situations create some of the best memories too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And watching guys come together and the team come together, sometimes it's just as rewarding. The Baja 500 win was huge, right? But there has been times when Keith and I have been stuck out in the desert for 12 hours,
Yep.
or Air Dog, you and I losing our brakes, and not just kind of losing our brakes, but like people are always like, "Oh, I lost my brakes." No, we lost our brakes. Like we had no brakes, and we were, it's like, we're scraping the side of the car against the mountain to slow us down as we're going downhill and can't stop.
Dude, that's wild.
But it's getting through, and it's getting through and still finishing, and sometimes it's those types of situations that are the most memorable for me. Like, we tell the story about winning the Baja 500, like we've won like 20 of them. But the truth is, it's like what I'll remember at the end of it is, pre-running with Air Dog, and if you don't know Air Dog, like you might stop to go to the bathroom. Air Dog's over stacking rocks like he's 10 years old.
Yep.
Like that's the stuff that like when
he's living, dude.
When I think about Air Dog, it's like I love having buddies like Air Dog because they remind you that simply just keep it simple, and like life ain't that hard.
I have a couple funny stories. Like one time, Air Dog was like, we're sitting at the hotel in the lobby getting ready to go, and he's like, "Hey, if we find those coconuts or whatever, will you like be brave enough to eat one? Because none of these fuckers will eat one with me." I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So we found some, and he's like, "Dude, you're my new friend on these trips, man." I was like, "Yeah, sweet."
Yep.
You are the raddest guy to go to Baja with, George, because you don't say no to anything, and it's wild. Like, whatever taco it is, wherever adventure, you're just, it's pretty fun to go down with you.
As long as you keep George fed every 8 to 15 minutes, he's great. If George doesn't have food for
I get hangry, man.
40. You get hangry faster than any human I've ever met in my life. He gets hangry in like 45 minutes. Like most people can eat breakfast and make it till noon to eat their next meal.
No,
George eats at 8, and by 8:45, like he's like,
ready to go.
What are we doing for lunch?
Yep.
What are we doing for lunch?
What's next?
Yeah. So I always tell him, I'm like, pack your shit before we go because we are not going to see food for 4 hours. I'm like, make sure you have enough rations for yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, good.
Oh, it looks like Air Dog froze up a little bit. Yeah, but it is funny that you say that, though. Like, that's actually when people say teamwork makes the dream work, like, that's actually what makes it work, is to have that good leader, because you understand everybody that's in the crew and what everybody needs, right? Because then you have everything set up. I remember the next time I went to Mexico with you, you're like, "Dude, I packed this fucking massive cooler just for you so that you can have enough food and not complain." It's like, so don't give me any shit.
Yeah, and but you do have to, if you pack, I'm a big fan of snacks for both the pre-runner and the chase trucks. Yep. I like to keep our teams fed and fed and watered, so to speak. But I'll never forget. The year I had literally like a big Tupperware bin of snacks for the entire week, and it was on day one of pre-running for the 1,000. The first year that Air Dog got in the car with me. And Air Dog took the bin out of the back of the truck and put it on the ground and loaded his stuff up, and then we took off. And we made our first stop, and we were looking for the bin. And
oh no, Air Dog!
Yeah, it was a damn near fatal mistake.
It almost cost Air Dog his life.
No, not his life, but had I not known Air Dog for a long, long time, that one might not have been forgivable.
There was so much accident, I felt so bad.
Yeah, we still joke about that one.
You guys have done some pretty cool stuff together, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baja got that one.
But Craig sucks at shotgunning White Claw, says Jeffrey Ricker, I think
Frank.
Is that Frank?
Frank is wrong. I beat Kristen Kristen Matlock every single time. You couldn't touch me. And Kristen Matlock sucks at at shotgunning White Claws.
Oh, it's a competition now.
Yes. And I haven't done that in a while.
Shotgunning White Claws does not sound like very appetizing to me at all.
It's not a very good experience. I do not recommend it.
Air Dog, I'm not in.
No, maybe maybe King of the Hammers. That's an area where I like to go and hang out with everybody. It's a cool place to do some shot. Maybe there.
Yeah, I'd rather shotgun a beer or something, though. No, I'm not trying to do it. Yeah, he says, "Love you, Frank." So it is pretty cool. Do you have any of the favorite memories? Because I've seen you down in Mexico so many times, and there's so many things that you could actually I don't know, talk about or whatever. But is there anything that stands out?
Oh man,
one of the things that stands out to me is obviously a part that I was in, but is when we hustled down to the finish line at the Baja 1000, and you and Craig were already there, but we got you guys right on time, and we were FaceTiming. I think it was with Amy, his wife, and she got to celebrate it with you guys. Like that, to me, I wish that we could celebrate those things with everybody so that everybody could see them, because the emotions that came over you, just being in the car, but then seeing your wife, it was like, holy crap, it was awesome.
Yeah, you're gone for so long down there, and get to be able to not only cross that finish line, but to see your family down there, and it's pretty amazing. But one of my favorite times, honestly, was, I think it was the 500, Craig, when we lost our brakes in the worst area that you want to lose your brakes in. And I want to say, was that 2 years ago, the Baja 500? And we literally had to switch into survival mode. It was one of those races where I'm not sure if we finished or not, but we got the car to where it needed to be, but there was nothing we can do.
What do you do in a situation like that? Because you're talking about losing brakes. You have zero way to stop.
He actually changed the way he was calling the race. We used numbers for turns and speeds of turns, and he's he bumped all of his numbers up or down, whatever it is, to make sure I was going slower. If it was supposed to be a wide open turn, he would make it a tight turn, because the problem was it was dark. So when you're pre-running, you could see okay, I'm going to go up that mountain and then down that mountain.
Yeah, so I can push going up, and then it'll slow me down.
And then you get in the race and you forget how many mountains you went up and down during that section. But it was a section where we entered it, and once we entered it, it was 125 miles until people could get to us. So it was like this. Once we it was like one of those situations where it's once we go through this spot, we're either going to spend the night in the desert or we're going to drive ourselves out of it. And that's kind of what that one was. And we had lost brakes kind of shortly into it. So what had happened was our rear brakes weren't working the whole entire race, so we were burning front rotors up the entire time. And by the time we got into this section, they were gone, right? And I remember saying to him, I have no brakes. He's like, are the brakes soft? I'm like, no, I have no brakes. We had burned the rotors completely off.
Zero.
Dude.
Yeah, even Mike Gardner just chimed in and said that sounds sketchy as hell. Dude, to me that just seems so gnarly.
Not as sketchy as Daniel having a child with him, but yeah, it's pretty sketchy.
Oh, poor Mike.
What's happening? Love you guys. Miss you guys.
All right. See you, buddy.
Later. Are you taking off? Is that what you said?
No. I was just saying hi to the gardeners.
Oh. I thought he was telling us he loved us. I was like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. Now I can't hit the button to invite Max, man.
That's because you probably have...
Remember when we were bringing the car, Craig, down to the driver swap? I think that was another favorite one, too, is we were bringing the car down to the driver swap, and we thought it was raining. He kept asking for the tap.
So there's my shield kept getting wet, and I'm like, is it raining? And he's like, I don't think so. He's like, it's like the brightest star night out ever. It was clearly wasn't raining, and I'm like, is it raining? It feels like it's raining, and it was not raining.
What was it?
It was
shock oil. He had blown the shock out, and it was spraying oil onto my face.
Really? Yeah. Holy cow, dude. Yeah, that sounds gnarly. All right, so let's just give him an introduction real quick. Just getting back from Utah, two-wheel racing champion, now side-by-side racing champion. Max Eddy, what's up, dude? How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're doing awesome, man. How was it in Utah this week?
I'm want to say hi to Air Dog and my new boss real quick. What's up, guys?
Is Monica there? I didn't see Monica. You said your boss. I didn't see Monica. Look at his hair.
Yeah,
Look, that kid's got some nice hair.
Max?
Oh yeah. Look at it.
He really does.
He really does.
Got like a nice shine to it.
Yeah.
Can I just recognize how much hair I have in the middle of my head right now and see what it's like in a year from now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so he's keeping tabs on it.
Measure how gray it gets too.
He's keeping tabs, right? All right, so one of the questions I wanted to ask, and it's kind of a perfect time to ask it now, is, we talked about kind of the beginnings of Razor and off-road racing and stuff, and Max can kind of chime in on this a little bit, but you won the Baja 500. Coming as a kid from Pennsylvania, like that wasn't even something that was even known to you when you were growing up. Like you didn't even know what a Razor was, or off-road or any of that stuff. Like it must have been pretty meaningful, or like I don't even want to say, like, is mind-blowing the right word? Like to cross the finish line first for that?
Yeah, I mean, for Max to win the Baja 500 or the Baja 1000 is very much in his wheelhouse.
Right, that's what I mean.
Growing up where he grew up in Barstow, riding dirt bikes, being in the off-road his whole entire life, blah, blah, blah. Same thing for, like, Seth and these other guys. But, if you really think about it, like, there's just zero chance growing up that I didn't even know what it was, let alone thought I'd ever win it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's I would say, odds-wise, it's pretty low. But then you have like Max, who's won like 80 of them.
Yep.
On dirt bikes, no less, and
he's even got his jersey and like stickers and all that stuff inside restaurants in Mexico because he's that cool, right?
Yep. So so I should. I make all the jokes aside. It's just to have somebody like Max coming onto the team to both navigate, drive, and prep the car and stuff is just how lucky am I?
Yeah.
I can't go back in time and gain those experiences that he has.
Right.
The only way I can do it is to try to borrow it from him a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. As soon as we hang up this phone call, I'll go back to busting his chops about every single thing. But but I do feel lucky. You talked a lot earlier about kind of like people I've helped and stuff like this. I'm the lucky one.
Right.
I'm the lucky one to have an Air Dog. I'm the lucky one to have Max in my corner, and so it's really, it's not luck on my side. I'm the one that feels.
Well, let me touch on that a little bit.
Grateful.
Like that goes hand in hand though, and you guys will both, Max and Air Dog, you guys will both agree with me, especially since Aster just said hi, Dad, or Dad on the comments. It goes hand in hand. You give what you receive, right? And you understand you want to help good people. So you guys wouldn't be doing it if the shoe wasn't on the other foot, so to speak. So it's pretty cool to see that everybody works together to accomplish these goals together. And it really ends up growing everybody.
Yeah, it sure does. To have those opportunities is a blessing, and to be able to put it all together as a team, and take these opportunities and make the best of them is really what you got to do. And so, yeah, it's really, it goes hand in hand. It's an amazing deal.
Max, when you hear like stuff like this, and you were to like give advice, because I want to actually throw this to Craig too, but if you were to give advice to some of these up and coming racers, or maybe somebody that hasn't won 9 Baja championships or whatever it is, like what kind of advice would you give to little Johnny or to me as a beginning racer to be able to set up these types of relationships and stuff? Because those are so meaningful, they're life lasting, and they help your race program.
Man, I don't know. I think it's one of those things, I never say no. I'm not ever going to pass up an opportunity to broaden my horizons or gain some experience in the desert or meet new people, and I think just being around, being in the right place at the right time is huge. Just talking, being outgoing, wandering around, just talking. Like, we can't go anywhere without being late because I'll sit there and just chat with whoever I run across, and it makes a big difference. And just not giving up. Like, you sit down on pencil out what you want, write it on paper, your goals, your dreams, and it'll come true. If you don't write it down, it ain't gonna come true. So you just sit down, pencil out what you want, and you just keep pushing for that, you know?
Yeah, you know what? So that's a good point that I want to bring up. Yeah, so John Lewis from Desert Squadron said, because he actually sent me the picture of it, that he pulled up on you on the highway and you were mean mugging him like a mad dog today.
I seen John on the coming through town today with. Now he said, "Hey, that's our first aid safety kit dude right there."
Yep.
That's all my brother.
He's got you guys dialed in. Yeah, so if you guys ever want like a trauma kit, please go check out the Desert Squadron website and check it out. But yeah, so two things I want to say is never say no to anything. That's how I deal with Air Dog in Mexico. And then second is always write down these things. So Craig, you're actually a good leader that would give some good advice. Is I always tell people, kids mostly, Caden Danbury is actually one that's followed these things. I think it's 98% more adept to succeed if you write down your goals than to type them in on your phone or to just think of them and try to remember them. Like, that's a stat that I learned. And so now if I have anything serious that I want to do, I make sure I write it down.
Yeah.
Just like what Max was saying. Yeah, so now you guys have assembled a new car.
New car, yeah.
And, man, that thing looked pretty sweet last time when I saw it in Barstow.
It's really nice. Well, I'm really psyched about the new car. Johnny Angel and the team, Craig down at UTV Inc. built the car for us. Keith and Brandon down in the shop down in Arizona before we moved it up to Barstow had torn the car down and took care of the frame and put the car back together. Max and his guys up in Barstow got her wired, and we've done some finishing touches to her. We've had this car for a while, been in the process of building it and just waiting for it to be 100% right before we take it out the first time. And last week I think we put 225 miles or so on it in Barstow in some extreme heat, extreme conditions, and it was a pretty flawless week. It's the first time I've had a new race car and had a flawless start for it. And
well, that's rare for anybody.
Yeah. It's but more importantly, it's just how much these cars have evolved. The golf cart class is unbelievably growing, and just the capabilities of the cars. The very first Razor I drove through Barstow, years and years and years ago, 15 years ago, whatever how old Razor is, and to see how fast that they've come to what they are now, to where you can flat foot just like you would in a spec truck or something like that across in Barstow, going as fast as you can, is just
and for anybody that doesn't know like how gnarly that is, Barstow, Maine, and Barstow, like there's what, Max, what would you call them, like 3-foot whoops, 3.5-foot whoops going through there, and they're spaced apart pretty far. They're all uneven, and now a Razor, like you guys just did 2 weeks ago, can go wide open through there. Do you remember, Max, about how fast you were going?
Yeah, I think we were, by the end of the day or the end of the test weekend with Fox, we were up in the high 70s, low 80s range going down.
No way.
Yeah, I think it would have gone faster, but we didn't clutch the car, so that's the top speed of the car that week, so we clutched it over the weekend. So when we were texting with Fox, it was earlier in the week. Now, what I'll tell you is this. So we have the X-Travel suspension on the front, too. The stock suspension in the front, it's fantastic. I love my 300 Pro R that has a stock, but when you put the X-Travel on, for what we do, you're basically making the front end into a trophy truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it can handle, the beatings it can handle, and it is unbelievable. If you just look at the geometry they came up with is fantastic. But the way they've constructed that front end to go on our car is something
Work
else.
of art.
Yeah, it really is.
I can't believe that you guys are going that fast over that like gnarly of terrain.
Well, that was going to be my point. Spec truck can do that all day. Trophy truck can do that all day. The one thing we're going to have to learn about this car, and Max and I talked about it quite a bit, is just because you can doesn't mean you should in a race.
That's a pretty good point,
so
right?
It's it's going to be, we're going to have to test and learn with this car. It has not, the 400 will be 6, 8, 10 hours long, and we'll have to see just what that car does over that long a period of time, and we'll ramp it up slowly, and we'll make improvements on this car and get ourselves ready for the 1,000 and then for next year. But
dude, I think it's so crazy, Max. Like, and I'm going to ask you a question after this, Air Dog. But Max, going that fast, do you think that there could be a mistake that happens pretty easily, or do you think it's pretty stable?
I mean, yeah, of course there's going to be a mistake. Park failure, driver area, there's error, animals. Well, I mean, there's a ton of different varieties that can cause, a mistake or anything like that. But you know what? That's what we work our asses for. That's why we train. That's why we tune the car and make it the best we can to mitigate those errors. And especially on the human error part, a lot of racing, there's some part failure and stuff, but human error is probably the biggest one. That's why, it's, in my opinion, it's super, super important to stay fit and stay healthy, and you got to live that entire lifestyle, right? Racing. You're not just gonna show up to a race and race the best guys in the world and expect to win. It's like watching Supercross on TV, right? If you're just sitting on your fat ass at home not doing nothing, and I want to go race these guys in Supercross, it ain't gonna happen. It's side by side stuff is pretty competitive, and it's the same thing there. You got to stay in shape and you got to be prepared for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so AirDog, he kind of led into the question I was going to ask you is like, did you ever think side-by-sides were going to get this crazy? Because you've been in the game a long time, and it's like, to me, it still blows me away that they can go that fast. Like, and I didn't drive Craig's race car, but I drove a stock Pro R out there, and I was like, a way different situation. But I was just hitting the little red button for the oh shit button or whatever it's called, and instead of managing my foot on the throttle, I just pinned it and played a video game over all those whoops and never had the car bottom out in those whoops. I just went beep, 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 and just pressed the button across the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing where these cars have come. My first time in a race car was, as a co-pilot, was 2015. I did Vegas to Reno with Jacob Shaw.
Oh, AirDog kind of...
AirDog froze up.
2015, so that's...
Where they have come to now in 2020, like Craig was saying, it's mountain.
It really is, and it's not just the Polaris RZR Pro R. We got to give credit to everybody else too, because the whole sport or the whole genre has elevated. But like, man, it still blows me away to even think about that. And like, that's why I was asking at the beginning of the show, like, when you had the RZR 800, did you even think like that it was gonna? I mean, did you have this long of a plan to look forward to?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool, man. I can only imagine what the plan is looking forward to in the next 10 years.
Those guys they'll keep coming up with stuff up Polaris. So will Can-Am and everybody else. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And it's fun to watch consumers too, because if you'd have came out with the Pro R in 2008, I don't think it would have gone well. You need a lot of consumers, especially people who are new to the sport and new to it and came off other vehicles, and I think watching it evolve the way it has as people's driving skills have evolved, and it was the right timing and all that good stuff. But it'll be fun to watch as we go forward for sure, because every manufacturer is going to push each other to keep getting better.
Yeah,
and it'll happen faster and faster now too.
Well, what are you guys going to do to push yourself to getting better too? So I don't know how many races AirDog can actually go to, but you and Max have some pretty serious plans for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, and more for next year too. We've raced all the score races this year, as well as the KOH Desert race, and next year we're going to kind of ramp up our schedule a little bit and do a lot more races.
Like what kind of stuff? Are you allowed to tell now?
Yeah, it's my program. I can say whatever I want. But we'll race Parker next year. We didn't race Parker this year. And one of the cool things we'll do with the program now is Max will drive in some of the Mexico races with me. He'll navigate in some of the races. But then like Parker 250, Max is going to drive.
Oh, cool.
And I'm just going to sit in the pit with the cone. Put on the hood when we fuel it, so he doesn't.
You'll be the Instagram guy.
I'll be the Instagram guy.
Perfect.
I'll be the guy in the pit. I'll have a bottle of water with a straw hanging out of it, ready for him.
Hey, you got to watch out though. I got a story.
What's that, AirDog?
I said you can hang out with me in the pits.
That's right. I'll have a headset on just like you do, and I'll run around.
Yeah.
Tell people what to do. It'll be fun.
One of a story that I was going to bring up was at the Baja 1000 last year, AirDog. I don't know if you guys knew what but when we were supposed to get Craig food because you guys were sitting out there for a while, and I don't know, the hamburgers weren't there. They were at another chase truck or whatever. And so I brought a granola bar, and you're all, what the fuck is this? Give me some meat or something. And you threw it out, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, that was a bonding moment, but he was totally being a jerk. Like,
you brought some compressed wood up to me.
I know. And I was like, this is all we got, man. And then finally somebody came up with the chase truck with the hamburgers. I was like, thank God. You saved him.
I thought you were going to talk about when the Matlock's dog ate all of our tacos.
Oh, that was horrible too, man. That was a horrible story. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
But those are all bonding moments.
Yep. So, like I was saying, though, we'll do Parker. We're going to do all the score races. So we'll do San Felipe. We'll do the KOH Desert Race. I think we're going from 4 or 5 races up to like 9 or 10 next year.
Dang, man.
And Max will do most of the driving in the U.S. and I'll do most of the driving in Mexico.
Dude, that's going to be so cool. Are you guys excited?
I am.
Are you, Max? Are you excited?
Yeah.
He says that now.
I'm grateful for Craig giving me the opportunity to run my own program and stuff in the NA class, and we're doing fairly well this year. But we will. I'm looking forward. I want to win overall. Class wins are cool, but we want to be the first UTV on the course. So that's what we're pushing for, and obviously the manufacturers are making adjustments, making the cars better, but we're really working hard to make the car better after every single race, because this course changes every race too, right? So we got to change every race. So we're not ever going to settle for just a decent car, a good car at the 500. It'll be better for the 1,000. We're going to race the 400. The 400 car will be good, but the 1,000 car is going to be 10% better every single race. So that's our goal, and I'm super excited for that, because honestly, the NA car is boring, just sitting there looking around. It don't go fast enough. This Pro R's, you get up into the 90 mile an hour range, and it's a little more, a little better.
All I'm seeing from Max right now, or hearing from Max right now, is, damn it, give me the keys.
All I hear from Max right now is, I want to go fast.
Yeah.
It's like Ricky Bobby. I just want to go fast. No, but the part people aren't seeing is Max got a hold of that car, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, and he has literally not stopped.
The Pro R.
He went to Utah for a weekend with his family, but he has not stopped. And it's funny because with Keith retiring at the end of this season, long time prep guy for us and all that good stuff. It's good to see it going from such good hands into such good hands. As they both at their core are like the same dude. They hate to fail, and they don't ever stop working. And Max brings another level of knowledge of Mexico.
Yeah, dude, his knowledge of Mexico is beyond.
Yep, and the other part too is Max is really, really, really good at explaining what he feels in the car to, like, say, the Fox guy. Vince from Fox was out with us for several days last week, and Max was really good at. I really liked watching them, the two of them work together, because Max was very much able to explain exactly how the car felt.
Yeah. In
terms that Vince understood, so that Vince can make adjustments.
Yeah.
And it was like instant. It was like, wow. Like I didn't feel that. Now, but Max felt it. And
at the top of the stroke, it needs less compression.
Yeah, but I felt it once they made the change.
Yep.
And then, like I said, to have all the experience he has down in Mexico.
That's massive for your program.
And to have a guy who hates to have bad results as much as I do.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly too. But Max learned last week that I'm an and person versus an or person, and I like to go to the restaurant and order off the menu. And when I order off the menu, it's not, do you want appetizers or a main course? I want appetizers and a main course.
Yeah.
So he said to me last week, he's like, so we can fix. It wasn't fix it. He's like, we can adjust the steering on the car, or we can do this thing in the back that we wanted to do, that I'm not going to talk about too much, but I was like, how about we adjust the steering and do that thing in the back? I'm like, and right off the bat, he'll get smarter. Like, next time, he won't offer me both.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll just go and do one of them.
But he'll understand that that's what, because that's probably the same way that he operated his dirt bike program, too. I'm glad to see. I think you guys are putting together a pretty good team. Are you stoked, Max?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited. Obviously, we all have mentors, right? My mentors were some of the most successful people down in Baja. Everyone we worked with, Johnny Campbell, Bob Bell. God, there's so many people that I mentored down in Mexico, and they taught me a lot and just taught me the right way to do stuff. And I can't wait to, provide it to our own team, right, and in our own program. So I don't think I would have got this opportunity with trying to do my own thing, just because, there's a ton of reasons why I wouldn't do my own program. So simply because, the biggest one being financial problems, and financial thing in Baja is huge. And if to do it right, you got to have the backing to do it. If you want to win.
Yeah, well, it goes back to that. It goes back to that whole thing. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? You work together to accomplish those goals. Trophy Bro commented in and said that new car does look rad.
Thanks.
So we're going to let you go, Max. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys had a good time in Utah. That was pretty cool. But what's the next thing on your guys' plate with Craig and the new car?
We're going to go dominate the 400.
There we go.
I think first off, he's going to have to go sift through the mountains of parts that Blair sent him over the weekend while he was gone. He'd call me today. He's like, man, we got a lot of parts here. I haven't gone through them yet, but I know there's a lot of boxes. So
those chase trucks are going to be stacked up.
Yeah, they are.
I'm stoked, man. I really look forward to seeing you guys on the top of the podium. So thanks, Max. I appreciate it. Please tell the family hello.
Peace out,
All
bro.
right, we'll see you guys.
We lost Air Dog, but we wanted to say thank you to Air Dog and obviously Captain Cheeto as well. And thanks, Amy, for letting us borrow Air Dog. So we only got a couple questions left for you, Craig, and we'll wind this thing down. But more along the lines of not racing. So, actually, what was one of the best things or one of the best memories that you've had over the last 5 years, or best accomplishments? I know the Baja 500 rates up there too, but that's racing.
Yeah, I mean, memories though, I would just say pre-running times with Keith, and it's that's one thing you can't replace
Ever.
No. I mean, it's he's been in the car with me since pretty much day one, and that's coming to an end here pretty quick. I get a pre-run at the 400 with him, and I get Baja 1000 pre-run, and I get to race in the car with them for those two races, and then that's done.
But the highs and lows and the emotions that you go through during those times is like it's a connection that's like really hard to beat, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why whenever it's like, oh, give me one thing that you remember, this, that, and the other, you can't because it's the combination of all of it together.
Well, the reason I ask those questions is because it's simple for people to understand. But
it's a lead-in for me to talk about it. But the truth is, it's the being stuck out in the middle of nowhere and sitting by the car and just like in the dirt in our race suits, thinking, well, this isn't how we planned it to turn out, but let's go do this all over again the next chance we get.
Absolutely. There's so many times that I've just like sat out in the desert for 8 hours. I go, fuck this. I never want to be out here again.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, that was a good experience.
Our big line is always like, it still beats golfing. So, so I guess we'll keep doing this for a while.
Well, speaking of golfing, that's kind of on the lines of my next few questions here. Sounds like we might be able to go bicycle riding a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the things that you're going to do in the future to make yourself happy?
Well, I've been working since I was like the summer of when I was 14, working with my Italian uncles in construction, up until about a month ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm in semi-retirement, so I don't plan on doing anything for a while.
Maybe use the pizza oven a little bit more.
I figure I have a pool. I didn't
go bicycle riding a little bit more.
Had one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some traveling. I'm gonna do the racing thing where we're moving the program from Arizona to California, so that'll keep me busy. I don't know. I have some family members who don't think I'm going to make it even 3 months, but I think I'll be fine. The one thing
I was going to say, you like to keep yourself busy.
Well, I mean, I have hobbies, and the hobbies I've ignored for a while. I'm going to go to the Baja 400 next week, and I'm going to pre-run, and I'm not going to have to get out of my car and get on my phone right away.
That was one of the things that annoyed me the most. Is I was like, dude, just stay focused. Like, can you stay focused for fucking 10 minutes here? Like, UTV Wolfpack says, where's the Wolfpack singlet?
Oh,
Let's see here.
Tell them to come to a race and get me a new one.
Oh, you need a new one, huh?
Yeah, I'm bigger and older now.
Well, it sounds like you guys got a pretty good plan. And
yeah. The one thing I'll do from a business side is, I've had some people I know that I know really well that own their own businesses or run their own businesses. I'd be more like I've already talked to some about coming in and consulting and helping them out. I think the next 18 months in the industry are going to be a little different and difficult for some folks. And if I can help some of my friends manage through that,
yeah, I was going to say
like things I've learned over the years, I'd be more than happy to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be really cool to see you do that because I know that the industry, I don't want to say is faltering, but I see there's bad decisions, there's good decisions, and whenever you go through a changing time or a trying time like this in the world, there's always a silver lining. There's always something that you can do to push forward and do better than everybody else, and you're a really good person to be able to see those things.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just nice to have a second set of eyes on something.
Right.
What I've watched with a lot of leaders over the years is you're just too entrenched in it. You're in it day to day, and sometimes just having somebody at the 50,000-foot look come in and look at it and say, "Have you thought about this or thought about that?"
I'm not even a leader, and that happens to me all the time. It happens to everybody, right? Yeah. Like it's just you get too engulfed in what's going on. All right, well, I think that's pretty cool, man. We just have some rapid-fire questions. I think you have actually answered some of these in your previous episode, number 41, but we're going to go through them anyways.
All right.
Tacos or hot dogs?
What tacos for sure at this point, but I do love a bacon-wrapped hot
dog,
though, man.
The hot dogs have been gaining. Chicken or asada?
Asada.
Dunes or the river?
Easy, river.
All day at the river, huh?
All day.
Action shots or still shots?
Action.
Big action shot guy. Three-wheeler or quad?
I do think the three-wheelers are cool, but a quad.
You just don't want to get hurt. Pizza rolls or jalapeno poppers?
Pizza rolls.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Ooh, this is a good one. Favorite movie?
Oh, geez. I think that's a bad question, but there's a whole bunch of different ones. Like,
well, no, it's because people can profile you.
I know
because
they
if you say like Casablanca or if you say like Ricky Bobby,
Casablanca, but Step Brothers,
yep,
all-time favorite comedy. I do love Me to Remember the Titans for some reason. It pops in my head.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What's the
Dude, I'm a big fan of like Butterfly Effect, A Beautiful Mind, like those
are good movies.
Yeah. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
No.
Dude, it's wild. All right, you got to be in a mood though. Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram. I don't have Facebook.
You said right now Instagram?
I don't have Facebook.
Oh, you don't have Facebook. Okay. Oh, this is a good one because I got a story I can tell about this. Favorite artist?
Artist?
Yeah, like band.
Foo Fighters.
Oh, really? You're going Foo Fighters? I thought you were going to go T Swift.
No, I do love me some Bieber and some Taylor Swift, but that's all like it depends on the mood. But
oh, here we go. Illumicraze says Craig got movies, so that's why you said it was a sucky question because you're a big movie guy, I guess.
I like movies. Yeah, and then and they all kind of run together. Like I mean, I think in the future you need to ask a genre. Like, what's your favorite genre movie, or pick a genre and say what's your favorite comedy movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix. Although I'm actually a big Hulu. I like Hulu.
Really?
Yeah.
What's Hulu got that you've been watching?
Well, I have live TV on there, but Hulu's got some good shows.
Don't sleep on Hulu. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
Oh, big flying guy?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to do? Like, if you could fly right now, where are you going?
Anywhere.
Just go all around? Like when Superman just finally figured out that
I'd like to be a bird.
Yeah.
That's what you're
just
getting
go
at.
wherever?
I want to fly, yeah.
Dude, that would be pretty
asked, what would yours be?
I would want to be like Jumper, like where I could teleport.
That's solid too.
Yeah, because that's not flying, but
that actually would solve a lot of the things I'd want to do flying. Because
right.
It's like I want to go to Arizona this weekend. I'm just gonna fly.
Yeah, but I don't care about flying and taking the time to fly. I mean, I would like to go and see like that point of view, but I could do that on a helicopter and I could just transport like right then to wherever I got to go.
Yeah.
Like if I could be like after this, I'm going to eat in Italy. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd be so stoked.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's solid. Beware of the people who want to be invisible.
Oh,
trust them.
Or the ones that want to read minds. Dude, I would not ever want to do that. That's.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Videos or photos?
Videos.
Let's see here. Are you going to go to the Taylor Hawkins Memorial Show
solid
in a couple
idea.
weeks? That is a solid idea.
Yeah.
I wonder where that's at. Is it in California?
I don't know. We got to find that, though. Did you see his son playing the drums, by the way?
That was insanely
crazy,
good.
crazy.
Like, what a teacher to teach him that, too,
Jumper.
right?
Jumper was a good movie, by the way. I don't know who Raxa, whatever that is. What up, Randy Romo?
That's my friend Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea. Okay, so did we already answer video or photos?
Video.
Video. If you could see a video of any type of off-road, are you going helicopter? Are you going just flyby? Like, what are you doing?
I would tell you I'm a big fan of the FPV stuff right now.
Dude, big fan.
Yeah.
That stuff is super cool because the angles is like no other.
And I'll tell you, our guy,
Mike Spasbo.
Yeah.
Oh, we shouldn't have said his name because we don't want anybody else trying to hire him.
He's my guy. You kidding me? Nobody can steal him from me.
John has 2 extra tickets.
We're in. What's the date?
Yeah, should throw the date out there. But yeah, the FPV stuff is insane.
Crazy. And what he's starting to, like, I'm watching him. Like, I even said to him the other day because he was tattooing me the other day, and I was like, dude, it feels like you're really starting to figure this shit out. It's like, he's like, yeah, every time he goes out with us, he gets better and better at filming our car. So,
yeah. Well, he's getting used to it. Like, the cool part about it is that he didn't really know, like, how all this stuff was going to go down.
September 27th.
September 27th. All right.
We'll be back from Mexico with it? Yeah, I'll be back with Mexico.
It'll be close. Let's see here. Oh, favorite snack.
Favorite snack.
Oh, I think tell me if I'm wrong or right. Is those chili pistachios?
Oh, I do like those, but yeah.
The pretzels with the peanut butter in them. Those are good.
Pretzels with peanut butter in them. I like the Dots too. The Dots pretzels are pretty solid.
I saw you take Uncrustables. Uncrustable. How about favorite snack in the race car?
Uncrustables.
Big Uncrustable guy. Let's see here. Oh, I think I know this one. Most memorable race.
Yeah. They're all, yeah. Sure.
Let's see. Oh, you don't know this, but you're gonna say It's Supercross or motocross?
I actually do know this one now. I'm a big dirt bike guy now.
Yeah.
Since the last time, since episode 41.
Yeah.
Now that you're on 142, and
so we have
101 episodes, I've become a Supercross motocross guy.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Dude, you know how much better friends we are now?
I dig the Supercross aspect for watching but I kind of the outdoor stuff. I think
it's just fucking gnarly.
They're just from an endurance standpoint and what those guys have to go through.
Dude, just like Troy was saying right now, like how gnarly are those dudes? 105-degree weather for 25 minutes, just balls to the wall.
Yes,
that's just
the
wild.
Conditioning that they have to be, it's gnarly.
Dude, it just blows my mind.
Big JMR fan, by the way. Can't wait till he comes back in Supercross.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. What other form of racing would you like to try?
Rally.
Oh, big rally guy?
Like, I'm talking, like, drifting rally. Yeah, like, not like rally, like Dakar rally. Like, I'm talking, like, rally car rally.
Yeah, like Nitro Rallycross?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because, like, short, or actually, stage rally.
Yes.
Stage rally, like Ken Block kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like World Rally Championship type stuff.
So, you might already know this, but I just kind of learned about it the other day. Somebody told me that there's actually a rally series for side-by-sides.
It was James Hill.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. We heard about it at the same time. Yeah, dude, I think that would be super cool to do. I feel like that'd be a way different car than what you guys have built.
You gotta slam it and make it real light. Yep.
Let's see here. Speedboat or dragster?
Speedboat, I guess.
And you've already answered this question before, but I'm going to throw it out there again. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ranch?
Drop the ranch and I'll be French fries.
Oh, you're just doing French fries with ketchup, maybe?
No, I'm a big fan of mixing mayonnaise and hot sauce together.
Whoa, like a chipotle mayo kind of thing?
Very Euro, I think.
Subi Mike said he wants to go. Sounds like Rallycross is going to be getting going. Lycra or baggies? Chris says.
Lycra, baby.
Lycra all day.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in with the fact. Chris, you're more than welcome to send in any more rapid-fire questions because we need new ones. All right, Craig, well, if there's anything else, you're more than welcome to throw it in there right now.
No.
We talked to a lot of people that you already have, and you already pretty much thanked all the people that we have, but do you have anybody else you want to thank?
No. I mean, yes and no, obviously, but I when it comes to this
there's
kind
a billion
stuff,
people.
Well, no, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I what I would tell you is just make sure you thank people on a more personal level.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I'm super thankful for my old team at 4 Wheel Parts.
Yeah.
Ashley, Matt, Jason, they're like the people who went through what we went through together. But but they know that already because I've already thanked them. So
I agree 100%.
Pick up the phone every once in a while and thank your friends. Don't send a text.
Dude, I couldn't agree more with that. All right, well, I do want to thank some people. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. So thank you very much to all the guys over at KMC Wheels for being a part of the show. Really appreciate them. Wheel Pros has been a partner for since day one. So please head over to your local 4-wheel parts store. Get yourself some wheels from those guys. Put on some Maxxis tires. Those things. Thank you to the guys at Motool. Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at Shock Therapist USA or shocktherapist.com. JL Audio. Like I said, we're going to be hanging out with them at Sand Sports Super Show. Thank you to Evolution Power Sports, Zollinger Racing Products, Vision Canopies, and Cryo Heat. Next week's show, we have something pretty cool, Craig. I think you would actually be into this.
Thanks, Caden. Caden's a great show.
Thank you, Caden.
I think you did a good job, George.
Well, thank you, guys. You make it easy when you can have a conversation like this, right? But next week's show, we are going to talk with the guys over at Fluid Logic. And Maglock. I don't know if you're a big fitness guy, so you can actually really improve your fitness or your stamina and stuff inside the car because it's got a drink system inside your air hose.
Really?
And that drink system has a computer on it that can tell your body what you need, the electrolytes, do a whole scientific breakdown and give you the exact amounts you need so you don't have to take a piss, but you still stay completely not tired, hydrated and not tired in the car.
I'm interested in this.
So we're going to talk about this. Yeah. Oregon Dunes, man, we got a lot of people commenting in now at the end of the show. Pay attention to the Fluid Logic show next week. It's going to be awesome. I think we got Ryan Arciero and a whole bunch of other rad dudes coming on. So thank you very much to Craig and everybody at the house for letting us invade your privacy. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to getting to be able to go bicycle riding with you some more, man. And thank you to everybody that's watched the show. You guys are our lifeblood. We really appreciate it. So please always come and send us direct messages and hang out with us as much as possible. Share the show.
Brandon Brewer. Sorry.
Yep. Keep saying it. We really appreciate everything. So like I say every time, we love you guys. Good night.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Life Show. See you next week.